Here comes the Nastygram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is Pale Blue Dot, Episode 1, Made of Stardust.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of the sick.
The Voyagers were guaranteed to work only until the Saturn encounter. I thought it might be a good idea, just after Saturn, to have them take one last glance homeward. From Saturn, I knew, the Earth would appear too small for Voyager to make out any detail. Our planet would be just a point of light, a lonely pixel, hardly distinguishable from the many other points of light Voyager would see, nearby planets, far-off suns. But precisely because of the obscurity of our world thus revealed, such a picture might be worth having. While almost everyone is taught that the Earth is a sphere, with all of us somehow glued to it by gravity, the reality of our circumstance did not really begin to sink in until the famous frame-filling Apollo photograph of the whole Earth, the one taken by the Apollo 17 astronauts on the last journey of humans to the moon. It seemed to me that another picture of the Earth, this one taken from 100,000 times farther away, might help in the continuing process of revealing to ourselves our true circumstance and condition. It had been well understood by the scientists and philosophers of classical antiquity that the Earth was a mere point in a vast, encompassing cosmos. But no one had ever seen it as such. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrine, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena.
The grainy image of that pale blue dot resolves into a real-time view of that same frame. From the bottom of that frame, a dark asteroid fills the screen as it travels towards Earth. The camera follows the asteroid, surrounded by dust and ice, as a small probe burns retrograde to match its speed with a giant rock. The probe descends onto the surface, clamps setting in place. A few moments later, the ion engine pointing out into space glows bright blue, slowly altering the trajectory of the asteroid. The scene cuts to a control room with men and women in military uniforms sitting at consoles displaying lines of data. The text at the bottom reads, Buckley Space Force Base, Colorado, USA, 2099. Sir, the Ned probe has begun the diversion routine. T-minus 4 minutes until burn complete. The mission commander watches the projected trajectory of the asteroid shift slightly away from Earth on the main screen. 3, 2, 1. Burn complete. The asteroid is now outside of danger band and appears to be no factor. The commander glances at his watch. All right, mark time and prepare the report. Will be... One of the sensor operators interrupts. Sir, I'm getting some anomalous data from TRACCOM. The asteroid is reversing diversion burn and apparently slowing down. What? The commander walks over and hunches over the operator station. Check the numbers. It's probably a sensor error. We see the dotted green line slowly arc back towards a near-Earth encounter, the red warning ring lighting up. The sensor is checking out green. The data is good. TRACOM is pinpointing possible routes. They say that if the rate of decel holds, that it will enter the L2 Lagrange point in 90 hours. The mission commander stands up straight and fixes his cuffs. Ensign, lock the doors. Open an encrypted channel to UN command. Welcome back to the Nastagram RPG podcast. My name is John, and I will be your handler. I am joined by...
Hey, this is Jake, and I'm playing Major Noah Hayes.
Hi, it's Ryan. I'll be coming at you as Ignatius Iggy Gruverbeider.
Hey, this is Devin, and I'll be playing Dr. Arthur Kai, Professor Emeritus of MIT Exobiology.
What's good, fam? Matt here. I'm going to be playing Doctor Viktor Orudzhev III.
The third what?
Of his line.
Of his name.
Of his name. The camera shows a sprawling space station with rotating gravity rings in the orbit over the moon. Half a dozen different ships docked to it. At the bottom of the screen, it says United Nations Gateway Station, Lunar Orbit. Finally, the scene changes to a conference room in one of these rings. The 4 crew members sit in rapt attention to the briefing being given. The woman presenting, Flight Director Vanessa Bouchard, turns to them. And that's where it is now, slowly orbiting L2. Any questions so far? She looks over the crowd. Why don't you guys describe what you look like? Hayes?
All right. The Major, in his Space Force uniform, is an older man. He is 70 years old. Mostly bald with a little bit of kind of a white crown around the edges, and a short trimmed white beard. And he is taking notes with a pen and paper, which is probably not normal.
No, yeah.
Iggy is wearing the kind of thing 30-year-old white guy who spent way too much time in Southeast Asia would wear. He's like loose-fitting linens, and
a lot of beads.
Yeah,
Puka shells?
yeah.
Puka shells still in 2099?
I think they're back.
They're back. Everything's back.
They went out and they came back again.
Okay.
It kind of looks like a younger bearded Peter Sarsgaard.
Nice.
Sitting in the back, his right leg folded over his left, holding a small voice recorder and talking quietly into it, is an older man, about 70 years old, and is bald, completely bald, but has a goatee that's all white now. But he wears like a tweed jacket and slacks, and he has some space-themed socks on, brown loafers.
And Victor is 41 years old. He looks relatively physically fit, 5'7". He's got dusty brown hair, well-groomed mustache and beard. He is also well-dressed, clearly tailored clothing, very neat-fitting vest with a tie. And you can see he also has like an audio recording device sort of tucked into the breast pocket on his vest. And he's just sort of sitting there with his legs, one leg crossed over the other and his hands crossed on his chest, sort of leaning back in the chair a little bit.
Vanessa clicks her pen as she kind of accentuates that question. And the screen behind her showing an image of the moon, and then beyond it, the L2 point where there's like a little targeting indicator of where this object is.
A hand raises from the back.
Yes, Dr. Kai.
Yes, Doctor. Did the probe pick up any form of measurable propulsion from the object?
From what we saw, there is some force that is acting upon it, though we weren't able to detect any kind of electromagnetic or radiation signatures from the asteroid.
And I'm assuming we've reached out to all the normal people of interest in this situation. India's not claiming responsibility.
Yes, all corporations have been notified. and requested information about near-Earth asteroid captures, and none have reported this specific asteroid.
Are you sure it's an asteroid?
Yes, we have images from the probe. It's clearly an asteroid about 40 to 50 kilometers in length. We lost communications with the probe as it entered back into Earth orbit. The power generation on it was only meant for a short period burst.
And you have no more probes in the near-Earth radius that caught it?
No, we decided to raise it up through the ranks in the UN.
The doctor rolls his eyes.
What we saw, its behavior, was out of the ordinary.
Out of the ordinary, how so, Doctor?
The fact that this asteroid was able to decelerate at such a rate towards Earth indicates that there's some enormous amount of propulsion. The delta V required in an asteroid of that size would be visible. It would be multiple rockets worth of delta V, that retro burn.
No living person could withstand a velocity like that.
Could it be some sort of outside force pushing against it? I believe I pull out like a tablet and I scroll through. Yeah, the U.S., we had a program back in 76, Operation Lasso. Didn't pan out, but my understanding was there was a few other countries working on similar technology.
It's possible. If they're attempting to capture this asteroid at a rate that normal propulsion would allow or a normal survey crew would allow, then certainly it would require some extraordinary effort.
Do we know the composition of this asteroid?
The composition is unknown, although it is metallic. When the probe cameras were showing the landing point, it was clear that there was some metal on the surface.
When she says that, I look over at Ignatius, thinking to myself, oh, now I get it. You have any idea what's up there? I mean, that's what Astrolab does, right?
I mean, that's not really my area of expertise. I'm more into sustainability, making sure that what we do is safe and viable for the future.
Dr. Kai is pinching the bridge of his nose.
We had reached out to AstroFrak to commandeer one of their ships to survey this asteroid. The CEO, Hans, had suggested his son to lead the mission.
Lead the mission.
It is their ship, after all. Although anything that is learned about this asteroid is obviously top secret.
Think of him more as like a facilitator, Doctor. You know, I'm here to make sure that everybody is in a position to do what they can do as well as possible.
Are you a pilot, son?
I've flown. Again, leading the mission isn't necessary.
The United
Flying the
Nations
craft.
is digging deep, I see. He looks over at Hayes.
The nature of this mission requires a small crew, and we're not sure what you'll find. It may be nothing, but we have allowed a special contract to AstroFrak to capture this asteroid and mine its contents if it deems worthy. But this is a survey crew, survey mission, to determine what it is and if it is any concern to the UN or any other Earth governments.
When do we leave?
Tomorrow morning. The ship is being fueled now and supplied.
All right. I'm kind of flip through the tablet with all the information that she sent us. I say, looks like a lot of things to review here.
If that is all, any other questions?
No, thank you, Doctor.
No, I'm just going to suggest we all take a look at these files, make sure we're up to date on everything we know about, what are we calling this asteroid?
NEA-1782 Juliet.
1782 Juliet.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot to read up about 1782 here. And I'd also like to get some information on that craft. Which one are we taking out?
The Ustforsker.
Ustforsker.
It's a survey ship, asteroid survey ship. There has a couple autonomous survey probes that can land on the surface and get you an idea of the composition of the asteroid, as well as normal mining equipment.
I have a list of things, Doctor, I would like to have on board as well.
All right. What is that?
Decontamination equipment. I don't know if the Ustforsker has biocontamination bay, things like quarantine.
She looks over to Iggy for the answer.
I don't know that it's on there yet, but we'll have our men on it. We can have it accommodated by, I would say 0600.
I have a team, Doctor, I could bring in.
Very well. Coordinate with the company and get what you need installed.
I'm going to brush up on this mining ship. Looking at everyone's records here, doesn't look like any of you are certified pilots, so I assume that means I'll be behind the controls. I'll concentrate on making sure I'm familiar with this ship. You can get familiar with 1782, if that's okay with you, Captain.
Sounds great, man.
All right. Dismissed.
We don't need to be so formal here, you know?
Yes, sir. I get up.
Dr. Kai walks over to, what was your last name, Victor?
Orudzhev.
Dr. Kai extends a hand. Arthur Kai.
Dr. Kai, my name is Dr. Viktor Orudzhev. You can call me Victor. It's easier that way. So there's no doctor jokes.
Pleasure to meet you, Victor.
Doctor. It's been a while, Dr. Vic. How you been?
Not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, better. Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
Are you excited?
That is a word you could use for an emotion, not one that I have right now, but it's going to be an interesting opportunity. Is there a particular reason why your father put you on there?
I volunteered.
Taking responsibilities. Good.
Yeah, I think it'll be therapeutic.
In what way?
You know, sometimes you just gotta put yourself in a uncomfortable position. Put yourself out there and really, just kind of stretch. That's why I do a lot of yoga and Pilates. But that's more for my physical being. I'm trying to also stretch my emotional state and my spiritual being, and I think this is a great opportunity to do that.
That is very good. Well, I enjoy seeing that you've taken some bigger steps on personal responsibility, and I would like to remind you that there are other lives on this mission, and it is not just going to be about you.
No, it's not. It's not. We're a team. That's what Hans really put me on here for, is because I'm always been a team player. Baby the family, got to get along with everybody. So it's gonna be a mission.
Do you call your dad by his first name?
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you pick Dr. Kai as well? Or did you volunteer, Doctor?
No, I simply answered the call of the UN. They were looking for a scientist, a biologist, exobiologist, to assess the object.
Good. So we'll be looking to you for most of the
Scientific questions, mostly. I work a lot in applied sciences and exobiology, how living things react in space.
There's no better mind in xenobiology. It's the guy.
Do you expect to find anything up there?
His face, he scours a bit. I don't think so. There's been many false positives, all the information coming from the UN. But we should be prepared. There's a part of me that hopes we do find something, but I don't think so.
Oh, to perhaps ease your worries, I hope as well. It would be quite a discovery.
He looks at Iggy.
Groundbreaking.
This is Major Hayes to Ignatius. Do you read?
Yeah, man. What's up? What can we do for you?
Ignatius, I'm down at Docking Bay 44 on the bridge of the what is it?
Ustforsker. Yeah.
Captain, it is tradition for the captain of a ship to do a tour before disembarking. I'm going to go through some safety checklists. Thought you might want to be here. Make sure your ship's ready to go.
Oh, hey, man. Sure. Yeah, I'll be right there. This will be great. Just want to, Major. I've been following, your career since I was like could barely even walk. So to be going out with you is whoa. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Copy that, Captain. We'll be here.
All right, you have a little bit of time. Is there anything anyone wanted to gather, get going, get together for this trip before you guys shove off in the morning?
Is there a magic item store in the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
How much gold do we have?
Yeah.
I have
like
500
gold
written
each.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I
it
just
says-
get-
Oh, those.
I get like,
Ring of
silk
visibility.
rope, 10-foot pole,
Elven boots.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dr. Kai coordinates a decontamination like sleeve. It's
Yep.
just a plastic thing you can throw up, and doses of potassium iodide.
There are a couple extra quarters on this ship. You're not a full crew. So there's plenty of space to kind of spread that out and kind of make one of the bunks a anti-contamination, med bay of sorts.
Sure. Yeah, he has, there's just like cases and crates that he brings in. They're all sealed with that white cross on a red field.
Yep. Anyone else have anything else want to bring?
When I'm on the ship, I see him kind of setting up, and I kind of come down the hall, cup of coffee. I say, "You're hoping for great things out there."
He puts down one of these crates. He sighs. Yeah, I hope one of these works out one day. Jake, what's your name again?
Noah Hayes.
I'm hoping one of them works out, Noah.
I don't think it's going to be this one.
Dr. Kai shakes his head.
It's a weird crew they put together, though, isn't it?
Yes, you see right through it. Shiny metal on a rock floating in space.
Sure. That part makes sense. Hell, having you along, you've gone on a dozen of these at this point.
Arthur nods.
Any time it's more than a 0.1% chance that it could be something else.
You never know, Noah. This could be the one that we didn't want to miss.
But Victor,
Strange.
he's good at what he does. I've worked with him before, and that's exactly it. He's good at what he does.
This is a relatively short mission, quite honestly. Nothing like Mars, Europa.
So why send him? Is it just to keep an eye on the kid?
I think they know more than they're telling us. They always do.
So who's out there?
I don't know. Whatever is piloting that object, it's intelligent. The way it corrected immediately. It slows down. It's not some other force acting on it.
Chances are it's just something someone wants to keep off the books. Some new project India's working on that they don't want us to know about.
Have they started moving beyond the Oort cloud? Beyond Neptune? Do you think?
Well, if it's automated, maybe. I know what you said about it not being able to, no one could sustain that many Gs stopping that quickly, but could be some sort of automated program.
You've had unmanned craft go to the most severe environments, Noah. You're still working for them. I'm surprised.
I am too.
You have a family.
And I'm retired.
So why are you here?
I look at the uniform, I say, doesn't even really fit that well.
You always were their dog, Arthur. I'm Arthur. You always were their dog, Noah. He smiles at you.
Only reason I took this is because how long is it going to take to get there?
Not long. It's L2 is pretty close to the moon, so it's probably a couple days there, and then however long it takes to survey, and then a couple days back. So a couple weeks, maybe.
Only reason I took this is because it's only a couple weeks. I'm done with deep space stuff. There won't be any more trips to Europa or Venus or any of that for me. Once this is over, I'm cashing in my pension, moving to Maine.
Arthur nods, but he doesn't believe you.
Look, I think what you're doing is important. I do. And I still think that what Space Force does is important too. But I've given them 40 plus years of my life. That's enough.
They're sending out with a kid, Noah.
This is just a rock collecting exercise. That's all right. I don't need my last mission to be anything glorious. And I hope you find what you're looking for, but between you and me, Art, they put Ignatius in charge of this mission. It's not that important.
Arthur shrugs and motions to a chessboard that's been set up.
You remembered.
Of course, it's on my rider.
You only get a couple kilograms worth of personal items, and this is what you bring, huh?
Just nodding, looking at the board. He's having these memories of sitting alone. Can I flashback?
Yeah.
In the first step?
Sure, why not?
We just see Arthur's face just looking down at the chessboard. Then we zoom out. He's wearing this white cloth garment, little booties on. And he's sitting, and there's a chessboard in front of him. And he makes a move and sits there and thinks. Then the camera just sort of moves, cuts, and it's him sitting on the other side of the chessboard. He thinks and he makes a move, and it cuts back, and he's on white, and it zooms out even more, and there's this plastic bubble that's been set up around him, and there's no one else in the room. and then Arthur makes his first move.
You guys sit and play chess for a little while. You're pretty early onto the ship, getting your equipment sorted. Victor, you show up shortly after in the morning, and then Iggy is last to arrive on the ship.
Namaste. Hope you all slept well last night.
As good as I could. Major, Doctor.
The doctor is finishing zipping up his flight suit, checking all these buckles sort of compulsively.
Well, Major, did you have time to look over everything you needed for the ship?
Ship seems to be in great condition. Should be. It's only a couple years old. We're fully fueled. We're in the green.
Excellent.
Doctor's kind of nervous. It's because I'm kind of nervous. Dorm C. There are doses of potassium iodide decontamination chamber. As we get closer, if the hypothesis that this is giving off some sort of radiation, we should be prepared to treat it and prevent it. And he hands out a potassium iodide tablet to everyone before we go.
Good point, Doctor. It would be an understatement to say that this is a skeleton crew with only one certified pilot. I'd like to know what sort of skills you all have when it comes to helping to pilot this ship.
I can perform some of the basic calculations in astrogation.
Well, unfortunately, my only strength would be that I can take direction quite well. So if there is anything that you can communicate in a rational way, that I can assist to the best of my ability.
Ignatius, do you have any experience piloting starcraft?
I mean, more like catamarans, so not so much. But like I've seen a lot of movies, so is it like that, or is it like, can I watch you do
Guy's
it?
pinching his nose again.
Sure.
Cool. All
You
right.
have a seat there. Very important position. You're going to be in charge of communication. We want to stay in constant contact with the moon, right?
Now Arthur's very nervous.
Well, I'm sure the UN knows what they're doing. Vanessa's not going to send us out here underprepared, right? Arthur, if you don't mind staying on navigation.
Aye, sir.
Victor, see that seat right behind me?
Yes.
You should be able to control some of the sensor arrays from there.
Excellent. Take a seat.
I'll walk you through what I can, but guessing we're going to want to keep an eye out for radiation.
Yes, I have the Geiger up here. I installed a application on this. These new ships are quite impressive, I must say, Mr. Gruverbeider.
Well, the whole point of this ship is to survey asteroids, so I suppose we're on the right kind of vessel for the job. These controls are actually pretty user-friendly. Turns out they want to get people out here doing this job within a couple weeks of training. So I'm sure you'll figure it out in the couple days it takes us to get out there.
Perfect. I assumed most of it would be autonomous, basic supervision at this point.
It is, but if we're looking for more specific data, we need to tell the system what to do.
I'm going to send out one of the probes early. I'd rather know what we're going into. We'll save the other one for collection later.
The ship you're on is this long. It's not terribly spacious. It's only meant maximum crew with full complement. It's probably 8 to 10 people. So there's a cockpit. There's a central hallway, and then on the outer ring there is a gravity ring that creates a gravitational pull outside of it, where all of the residences are, and the mess hall and like the workout room is. Behind are the engines, and then attached alongside there are 2 of those autonomous probes that are used for surveying, but they're fully autonomous. There's no piloting in them. You hear over the comms, Ustforsker, this is gateway control. T-minus 20 seconds to clearance.
Roger that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clamps released. You hear and the ship kind of rocks a little bit.
Detaching umbilical.
As the forward docking clamp is released. A couple retro bursts come out of the front of the ship as you back away from gateway, and then you start to prograde burn the lunar orbit as you try to escape the lunar gravity. The roar of the ion engines behind you kind of push you back in your seat a little bit as you start to accelerate away.
Say, I haven't piloted something this small in a long time. Maneuverability's nice.
This is quite smooth. Well done.
This ship basically flies itself. Where's the fun in that, though, right?
You see in some of the cameras, it shows like an external view. The moon, you see the light side kind of fall away, the dark side of the moon kind of shadowing some of the stars behind it, and they get smaller and smaller as you leave. You're in route for a couple days. We'll kind of jump forward to when you approach.
I was going to say, maybe Victor, there's like a little montage of him. He's, once he was given direction by Major Hayes on what he was going to be doing, he like looked up the name of the unit, like the brand, and he's spent those couple of days like looking
Studying
at,
it,
like videos on how to operate it, like things that he would want to look for, probably going over AstroFrak like information on what they would search for, and just sort of what this general piece of equipment would do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for you, that's pretty simple. I mean, you're a learned man, so you kind of know where to look for or what to look for. So anything that would require like a roll, or say you'll get a plus 20 for like ship services. Do you do any kind of baseline psychology meeting with everybody? Like, do you meet with all the crew and kind of get like a...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably get a...
Like standard protocol is probably to get a baseline and then kind of every once in a while have...
Yeah, probably
discussions.
pre-flight, like probably a couple of days before would have been like a general questionnaire that everybody would have filled out.
Yeah.
And then post-launch, once we're up there, after Victor's had a chance to just sort of observe how everybody's interacting and their sort of general feelings towards the mission, is then go in and sort of want to have like not a formal, but a casual, private conversation with everybody.
Yep.
He probably would start with Dr. Kai, seeing as he was so nervous about the launch.
Yeah.
Once he's had time to settle down and kind of collect himself, so that it doesn't seem like I'm approaching him immediately after, so he doesn't get defensive and he has time to sort of like relax.
Yeah, you find each other in the cafeteria getting food.
Could we say that maybe it is in Arthur's quarters?
Oh, okay.
Sure.
And
Yeah, you kind of knock on his door.
Oh, we're going to get a sex scene?
Sex scene,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I gotta believe it.
maybe as
Love those wrinkly old
maybe as Noah leaves, you walk past him and go towards the open door, and you see Dr. Kai is resetting a chessboard. He has a small, like this, it's like a panel on the side of the room that flips up, and there's little legs that come up. It's a table, a couple of stools, and then a little wooden chessboard.
Ah, Dr. Kai, I see you're a fan of the game of chess.
He motions with his hand to the other stool,
Oh, please.
and he resets the chessboard. What can I do for you, Doctor?
Whoa. How are you just going to rush a game of chess like that? What color are you playing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing black. I'm going to give you the first move.
Excellent. I don't know that much about chess, so generic chess move here.
I just yeah. He names the move that the opener that you do, and then beats you in 3 moves.
That's fine. The game of chess isn't that important. So, Doctor, how are you feeling?
Honestly, a little nervous. I haven't been on a ship in some time.
No. When was your last adventure?
Maybe 2042. No. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Must be 83, 84.
Ah, a little over a decade.
Yes.
Nothing as enticing as this has come across your path to bring you outward.
Well, there's actually a lot of competition now, especially as the United Nations and other government organizations, they bring the private sector, the companies in, contract out to them. It's cheaper, I suppose.
It is. You know, I have a few friends in government jobs. They, mostly stay planet side, but pay is good.
It is. I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Now, did you know anything about their crew before you volunteered?
He leans back. Noah's been a friend of mine for some time. I've worked with him for years, since I was a boy, right out of school.
Excellent. That is quite a long time. I too know the Major. I've interacted with him several times on various missions throughout the years. I'm sure you know, or at least have heard of Iggy. Yes, Ignatius.
His father mostly, but yes.
Oh, well, I can assure you that he is well-intentioned and is not as big of an idiot as he appears. I would like to just make sure that you understand that.
Just confuses me, Doctor. They send Ignatius, which makes me think they're not taking this seriously. It's just another rock collecting job, quotes his friend. But Noah's here. They brought me in. I've applied several times for several more missions. They haven't taken me.
Well, it is as you said, competitive field. And, this mission is, as all are, that's why the Major is here. It is important. It is something that, though Iggy is attached to it, it does bear a bit of weight. And the reason I believe that you two were chosen was that you are some of the best in your field. And
You seem quite familiar with the boy.
I am. I've helped him through many situations, mostly at his father's behest.
You see, he just sort of exhales and deflates. Are you here only for the boy? Are you here to make sure none of us kill ourselves?
You see a smile crack across his face, makes another move on the chessboard. I think the easiest answer for that would just be yes.
What do you know about the Europa mission 2072?
Truthfully, I perused the files, but I didn't do much in-depth looking at it.
6 years in space.
It's a lot. There are times where that can be very damaging. And that is one of the reasons why I am here, is to make sure that things of that nature do not happen anymore.
Doctor, this trip is going to take 4 days, maybe 5. Why are you here?
I'll go back to your original question. Yes. And then he'll make a move, obviously, to allow you to get checkmate.
He sighs. He plays checkmate. He extends his hand. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Now, just remember, it is a short trip, and we are only here to survey. Truthfully, there isn't much that Iggy could do that could hamper much of what we're going to do out here. So as long as you believe in yourself, in your science, then just remember, everything will work out quite well.
I remember when the qualifications for space travel were better than they won't be a hindrance. He stands up and walks to the door.
Good day. I'll probably head over to the Major's. Well, where would I find the Major?
You find him in the ring, finishing up a video call. He's got his tablet out. He's standing in front of standing, because we're in the ring. We have gravity. We don't have the budget for low G, so we're in the ring. He's standing in front of a porthole that is facing Earth, so you can see Earth actually in the background, and you hear him say, I don't know when I'll be back, and it could be a couple weeks. I told you I can't tell you that. It's a secret mission. It could be. Yeah. If I meet him, I will say hello. All right. Love you, sweetie. And he hits a button and he looks and sees you coming, waiting at the end of the hallway.
He's got 2 cups of coffee in his hand, and he approaches with one. Major, I hope I'm not interrupting.
Not at all.
Grandkids.
I've got 5 of them.
Huh. I think the last time we met, it was only 3.
It was.
Well, that must be quite nice.
Was never there much for my sons, going off to Mars, Venus. A lot of trips that took way too long, but trying to spend a little bit more time on Earth.
Good. It is very important to make sure that you maintain those connections with those people, even though there may be some more difficult memories there. But it is admirable that you'd like to be there more for them. This though is a much shorter trip.
Not gonna lie, they offered quite a bit of money.
Well, if I can...
You still independent?
I am. And, so you are worth every penny. There's a question I have to ask you. Iggy.
I don't know him very well.
Have you heard of him?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Of course. Oh, good. Probably better that way. Is there anything that I can do to make you more comfortable with his situation on the ship?
To be honest, I'm not too worried about it. From what I can see, this seems like a pretty cut and dry sort of mission.
Exactly.
I don't expect that he's going to try to make any calls that seem out of bounds, but, well, it's an interesting thing. The composition of this crew, right?
Quite.
Seems like it's just a survey mission, but, we're not military. He may be in charge of the mission, but as a pilot, that means I'm in charge of everyone's safety. And I will follow his orders so long as they do not put this crew at risk.
And I trust your judgment in that.
Just keep them on the rails. Keep them focused on the goal.
That is my job here. I'm sure you have figured out. You're not an unintelligent man.
I know. I know you've been working with his family for a while.
Yes. This hopefully will be the last favor that I have to pay off to them. It's been quite a beneficial relationship for all these years, but this, I hope, is a good step in having him truly grow out of the shadow of his family. So I'm here to make sure that nothing goes catastrophic.
I think I get it. You got the hardest mission of all of us.
Well, at least I know I don't have to worry about everyone.
Well, I suppose in some ways you got to feel bad for the kid. He's never really had an opportunity to prove himself, has he? Maybe a quick trip out to an asteroid that ends up being worth a few billion for his dad. It's a good way to put a feather in his cap, give him the confidence, feel like he's actually contributing.
I believe it would even be more than that. Even if this asteroid winds up being worth nothing, simply having him be in charge of something larger than himself is going to be very good. Whether or not he knows it, we'll only find out after.
Thank you, Doctor. This talk has actually made me feel a lot better about this whole mission.
Excellent. Dr. Kai mentioned that he knows you. I saw you'd worked together a few times. Perhaps with your relationship, you could also assist in perhaps assuaging some of his apprehension. I know he is quite competent at what he does, but that this is going to be something that will push him out of his comfort zone in a way that, well, I'm sure you know.
I understand. Yeah. I'll talk to Art.
Thank you. Now, I've got to go do a little bit of work.
You're doing a lot of work.
Thank you. Head out of the room.
Where or how does he find Iggy?
Iggy is in front of probably the largest screen that they have, just looking out in the direction of the asteroid, playing his langalik, which is a Norwegian string instrument.
Nice. Is he good at it?
No.
No.
I mean, he's he's learning.
He's all right.
He built it. He built it himself.
Okay.
It's kind of a hobby. Yeah.
You see the image of the asteroid. You're getting close to it now. You think you're not too far away, maybe a couple hours of full burn. You're doing a retro burn now to match speed with it. So it's pretty sizable on your monitor. Kind of covered in this dust of ice and particulate. But you see this dark, long, elongated shape in space as you play your instrument, and Dr. Viktor walks in.
I see you've put in a bit of work there, Iggy. Doesn't sound quite as horrible as the first time I've heard you play it.
It just, it takes practice, just like anything, just gotta keep at it and get it right. I built it myself. Did you know? I
did not. It is quite a feat.
I mean, it's a first try. I met with some real tight craftsmen in Oslo, and I did the woodwork myself. It's maple with a walnut ingrain there.
It's quite fine craftsmanship.
Thank you. It took some time.
Now that is something. As he points at the screen in the asteroid, that is something that was created by what, Iggy?
Well, I mean, we're all Stardust, aren't we? But,
in the sense, yes.
But we're talking about some kind of, extraplanar collision somewhere along the ways. Probably the remains of a planet that just got blasted into a belt here and shot out in our direction. And here we are.
So you think that this is just a regular asteroid worth an untold sum to the family, yes? Is that what you hope it is?
I hope it's so much more, but...
Well, what would you like it to be?
Proof of something else, man.
What?
I think we'll see. What would you like it to be, Doc? Just a paycheck?
No. A sign? It would be comforting to know that we are not alone, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, do I think that that's what that is? No. Do you know why your father put you onto this?
Oh, I know why he wants me up here.
And that is?
Wants to test my metal a little bit.
And do you think you have the metal? Is this something that you're comfortable with? Being in charge of a mining mission? Something you dreamt of?
I mean, I'm not... The whole mining aspect of it, that's not me, and you know that.
I do.
But exploration, finding new things, learning things, That's what I pride myself on.
Good.
As I told the guys, I mean, we paid, we gave the Europa guys top dollar. I'm a facilitator, We're going to get things done.
This is Major Hayes. We're closing in to 500 kilometers. All crew to the cockpit, please.
Wow.
Kai walks in promptly.
Good. Well, I'll be here with you if you need anything. Just remember that the others will also be depending on you for all of your skills.
When Ignatius gets to the cockpit, totally not an actual thing that is done in Space Force, but I say, Captain on the bridge.
Arthur salutes.
Well, now I am truly humbled.
Autonomous probe 1 away.
There it is, Captain. Big chunk of ice and rock and hopefully something else, right?
I mean, I certainly hope this time and effort is all worth its while in the end.
The initial survey probe launches into the dark as you're retro-burning towards the asteroid and lands on the surface. Initial readings come back. The initial composition detected on the asteroid is mostly heavy metals, particularly lead. The atmosphere or the ice around is most likely because of its deep space travel, and it's beginning to burn off because it's getting close enough to the sun.
Are we in any danger of debris?
No, it's mostly just ice, and water vapor.
Can I do a little calculation?
Sure.
The speed that it was traveling.
Yeah.
How quickly did it have to stop to reach this Lagrange to stop at this Lagrange point?
What do you mean by how quickly?
We know how fast it was traveling.
Yeah.
Like how much force would it have had to exert?
Yeah. So feeling those retro burn, those boosters, it's almost like
we start to slow and you feel it in your stomach.
He starts thinking about how quickly this thing must have come
20,
to a stop.
30 constant G's, something like that. Far more than a human could ever withstand.
He looks kind of sick. I don't know. He looks uncomfortable, Dr. Kai.
Did you say any of that out loud, or you just?
No, not yet. Not until we get more from the probe.
You all see it on the readout, kind of laying it out, and like the Major said, it's all pretty human readable format.
Okay.
Kind of says prospective heavy metal asteroid. Primary initial observation is lead, but more maybe kind of speculating on what an asteroid of this type kind of correlates it with other asteroids that are within this kind of type. For Iggy, it starts to actually lay out cost per ton and
calculating density.
Yeah,
if it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, the probability models are kind of so far, but
is there any radiation coming off this thing?
No, not that you can tell. The initial sensors on your ship, the radiation sensors, aren't picking anything up specifically.
I spin around and I look at the controls in front of Victor, and I see all that lead. That's going to make it hard for us to detect any sort of radiation that's beneath the surface. We're going to want to have to focus that.
Excellent.
Over here.
Yes, I watched some videos in the last couple of days.
Some videos.
Amazing, huh? Training videos for just about anything.
It is quite a marvel, yes.
You know what I'm wondering? How come we didn't know this asteroid was out here? We got 1.2 million asteroids being tracked throughout the solar system. This one's not in the database.
My hypothesis is that it came from beyond the Oort cloud. So we may not have mapped it or tracked it. It could come from another system, 3-body problem and all.
Well, that means that the higher-ups have known about it a lot longer than us.
Oh, of course.
So where on this does it say the actual weight of the asteroid?
It's just an estimation.
If you scroll, it's in that field there. If you scroll, it'll give you a rough number, but it could be anywhere within I think
Plus minus
2-degree range of that. Yeah.
Arthur, you have a 50 in is that geo? So or physics.
Dan was supposed to play the geologist.
Geologist.
Physics. He has he specializes in exobiology, astrophysics, stuff like that. So I think
the probe itself, one of the things that it utilizes to estimate weight is a gravitational wave detector to estimate how heavy or how much gravity is being pulled on by this asteroid.
and we can easily find the mass from that.
Yep. You're looking over the numbers, and for a 40-kilometer long asteroid, the mass is much lower, especially for a heavy metal. What is it's speculating to be a heavy metal majority asteroid. It is much lower than projected mass.
Is there any chance that this metal that we're reading is not lead, but maybe something else?
It's no. It's pretty definitive that at least the initial collections that it's made, maybe on other points of the asteroid, then maybe it's something different. But it grabs a couple samples, drills down, and gets a rough estimate of what it thinks the whole thing is made of. So it is possible it's made of, but to that end, that size of asteroid would have to be made almost entirely by like light stone
Or carbon fiber?
based, to make up the difference.
I look over my shoulder at Victor's like screen when he asks about the weight, and I say, "That can't be right. Go ahead and run another scan. That's got to be a mistake."
Arthur's doing calc. He's actually on like paper writing out things here. He's shaking his head.
Victor starts running through the data again. How far away are we from the asteroid?
Probably now 100 kilometers, kind of closing.
It is quite beautiful. I've never actually seen one this close before.
Arthur, with a mass, correct me if I'm wrong here, but with a mass that low, this thing would almost float, man.
That's why I'm doing it by hand.
The computer came back with the same numbers.
It is floating.
Could this thing maybe be throwing gravitational waves that subtract from the readings of the probe? It could be a fault in the probe.
Certainly I think it's possible. They were both calibrated before we left, and they checked out.
I'm going to go take a look at the second one.
But before you go, I don't know if you could do the math on it now, but just out of curiosity, something this large, I know you said it would take a no living thing could survive the force, but what is it that we have that could exert such a force on something this large, even at this lower weight?
Gravity. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll keep running some tests here at this station.
The amount of fuel, like Vanessa was saying, the amount of fuel it would take. I mean, you would see that thing light up from the moon.
So prohibited from our technology is what you're saying.
If I had to guess, I would say that it had some sort of solid rocket booster system that was detached after it was used.
Okay. Seems logical, yes.
I mean, I don't know who came out here, set something like that up just so they could stop an asteroid in a Lagrange, but that would be my guess. And as far as no one's seen it, well, usually when they say no one saw it, it's because they pay people not to see it.
It wasn't boosters, Major Hayes. The force it takes even to slow that down, where it would come to rest at that Lagrange point.
Well, if those weight mass readings are accurate, which they're not, then it wouldn't take as much as you think.
Major, could we, take like a loop around?
Captain, it's not a bad idea.
Show off those stick skills, Major Noah.
We're gonna stay pretty far away, but let's loop around, take a look at it from the other side. Maybe we launch that second probe, get readings from the other side of this thing.
I'm going to check the parameters and make sure everything's working all right.
Okay.
You start to orbit this asteroid, and you get video feed from the initial probe. It looks like a dull gray, maybe some bit of metallic sheen every once in a while across the whole landscape of this asteroid, and then dust or ice particulate kind of in the air above the probe. But beyond that, it looks like an asteroid. Nothing out of the ordinary. As you're wheeling around, you do pick up that initial near Earth asteroid diversion booster that was attached to it way back when, dead now, just kind of hanging on to the carcass of this asteroid. And you get to the other side. And Arthur, you want to launch the probe?
Yeah. He makes sure he double and triple checks. He goes into like a boot menu for the probe to make sure that everything is, all the pre-programmed stuff is correct and not some Chinese bootleg software.
It's high quality Norwegian software.
That's our last one.
As they've been circling around, Victor's been pinging the surface with whatever equipment he's got, just kind of taking surface readings.
Yeah, it's all comes back pretty similar. Heavy metal content. Asteroid is craterous, like many asteroids. Then there's that layer of ice around it. But nothing really out of the ordinary comes up. You don't see any radiation signatures, no electronic signatures either, except from the probes itself. But beyond that, it looks pretty clean.
Could we shoot this second probe and have it orbit the body?
Yeah.
He's going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, it won't be able to get samples, but
That's fine.
it'll take pictures and calculations and stuff. You launch it out, and it just starts to orbit around. Probably maybe it orbits the longitudinal. You're orbiting the lateral axis of this asteroid.
Autonomous probe 2 away.
As you're doing calculations, Arthur, you get the idea that if the weight is correct, the one way that it could be correct is that this thing is hollow.
He was thinking that the lead was just an outside thin layer, like how we use gold, thin layer of gold to reflect sunlight on our satellites.
Yep.
What's inside of you? He's looking. Actually, I'm going to declare what he's looking for. He's looking for any hollows, maybe a deep crevice or something like that, where maybe a probe. He has a light that he can flash on and focus into like a tight beam and has this aperture.
Yeah.
He's going to just spend as much time as he has being uninterrupted, just watching video feed of the surface of this rock.
Are you in the cockpit?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's quiet. You just hear tapping every once in a while.
I say, Art, I know what you're thinking. May I suggest, Captain, that before we start drilling into this thing, we move a bit further away to a safer orbit. If that rock is hollow, there's a good chance it's filled with volatile gases, something like helium that could be explosive, which would explain the lower mass. Last thing we want to do is crack this thing open and have it explode.
I think that's a great idea.
Devin, why don't you roll me a search? Or with plus 20, because it's going to be with a probe. So
okay. Yeah, I have a 60 in computer science, and I have all points in sciences like geology and stuff like that.
Well, use computer science, actually. You're you're manipulating the sensors.
I have 2d6s in my hand.
That's not how this game works.
Wouldn't go well.
87 over 60.
Okay.
Oh, it's bad, right?
Even with a plus 20, I would fail.
Yep.
I forgot how this game works for a second. Yeah, high is bad,
High is
right?
bad.
Yes, we
bad.
want to roll at or below our skill.
And doubles below are good, and doubles above are bad. This thing is orbiting quite a while. And you see craters. You can't really get a sense of one that is much deeper than the others. They're kind of shallow, all of them. Whatever was hitting this rock wasn't substantial.
Yeah, as if it took, the damage that it took going through, if it did come from outside the atmosphere, that ice and the rapid descent. A rock like that would, something would break in half.
Yeah. But, I mean, there are plenty of craters that are you know,
Natural looking.
20, 30 meters deep beyond the surface.
Ignatius, how accurate are the controls on these probes?
I mean,
Major, I suggest we send one of the probes closer to the rock. I see some of these crevices. He throws the display onto your screen. They're deep. In order to find out the composition of this rock, we have to penetrate that surface.
You want to do a Millennium Falcon?
I mean, they have a range of error of about 3 meters, so it should be good enough.
All right. Transfer controls up here.
You see the probe HUD come up on your screen, and the controls transfer over to you. And you can, once you roll, what do we got for
Pilot?
Yeah, pilot. Yeah.
Oh, I can't just roll 2 dice. I have to roll them one at a time. Or
Don't you
get
have
a
10 dice?
percentile die. No, I'm good. I failed. I rolled an 85. Whew. I have an 80 pilot.
Mark experience?
I rolled an 85.
Back in the saddle.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you mark the little thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's way too responsive.
Yeah.
Like, it's this little probe that can probably do a couple G, and I'm
Not used to
I'm
it.
used to like a big ass ship.
Yeah.
So I just like kind of tap the controls and it fucking spins really fast.
Well, easy. Oh, man.
See the camera whirling around. You get some of the hang of it, and you get it onto the surface. You're not sure if you damaged anything, and you also didn't get to the base of this. You're on like one of the walls of this crater, but not at the base of it.
Good enough for the UN.
It's this. It's not like a frigate. I'll give you that. Well, it's on the surface, but getting into one of those craters, I don't know.
I'll see if I can get something more from where it is. Tip, tap, tip, 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 tip.
The drilling arm descends from the probe and starts to drill through the rock. You wait a couple minutes. It takes a little while. It's pretty heavy metal, and it's not easy for it to get through.
He has his finger on the stop command in case it starts picking up any foreign gases.
Yep.
Art, could I suggest getting a spectrometry reading too while it's down there?
It's Dr. Kai, please. On the bridge. And he'll send that information up.
There is some, lead and heavy metals will emit radiation to some extent. But beyond that, there's nothing extra. But you're waiting and waiting. And the force meter, like it's showing you how much effort is being put into, how many joules of energy are being utilized by this drill. It gets easier and easier, but then stops. And it says, drill run out. You know that it's ran out of actual drill depth. But it was getting easier to drill before it stopped.
He creates a display that shows the surface, a little visual model. We're all at a dipstick.
It's about 50 meters down.
Jeez. Well, for something hollow, it's got a thick skin.
Ignatius, does this ship have anything else that can penetrate deeper?
Yeah, but I think we'd have to land on the asteroid. I mean, we have drilling equipment that could get, I think, at least half a kilometer down, but we need to make an approach first. And that would kind of, if it is hollow, like the doctor here believes, and it is gas filled, as you suggested, then that would put us in a dangerous position. So we'll have to consider our options pretty carefully here.
Well, this is a mining ship, right? I assume it has precautions for that sort of thing.
Yeah, there are ventilation counterpoints you can drill. I think the main, which for lower levels of gas would be fine if it is a asteroid this size.
Well, why don't we do a couple more scans to make sure we're not leaking anything as it is?
Yeah.
If everything comes back in the green, we proceed.
See if we can find any vents.
Yes, sir. Let's scan for vents.
Doctor, make it so.
You spend a little while looking for any kind of ventilation from whatever might be interior, especially from the probe, the mining head. It's far enough down that you think if it was going to break through, it would break through there. And you don't detect anything being expelled from the inside. You don't see any external vents of any kind?
He does some calculations, and it's getting easier and easier. He approximates some density, and he says, Major, Captain, I think if there were gas under pressure, helium, hydrogen, even oxygen, it would have broken through by now once we drilled through the outer edges. It seems to be less dense the further down we go. I think we're safe if you want to drill.
I concur with Dr. Kai's assessment, Captain.
All right. Well, let's scan the surface for an ideal landing zone then.
Yes, sir.
You've been orbiting this for a little while, and you actually already did that,
Mm-hmm.
kind of as point of fact. There is a flat spot kind of near that where that crater is that would fit the ship itself.
Perfectly. Ship
Ship-shaped. It's ship-shaped.
Ship-shaped.
You would have to the rotating gravitational arms would have to be stopped so you could land on it.
Okay.
But that's the only thing.
All right. We're slowing down the rings right now, getting into position. As I'm waiting for the ship to get into position and slow down, I say, I'm racking my brain trying to figure this out. I've never heard of a hollow asteroid before. I mean, I guess it's possible, right?
Dr. Kai, he's thinking of, he's not going to say this because he sounds like a crazy person, but he thinks of fossils, archaeological fossils, where the ground, the earth falls around them, and then the material decomposes or decays, leaving a cavity that's later filled by more material. And he's thinking about this cycle.
You're like, I really hope it's an alien fossil.
He's diligently just working away at the console, making sure we have live, real-time information from the surface.
Tell you what, Ignatius, in all my years of service, never heard of a hollow asteroid. This is, to me, this is a bigger mystery than it stopping on the spot. The way I see it, there's plenty of ways to make an asteroid stop. Someone did that.
Or something, but...
Yeah, someone else knows about this. They know it's hollow.
Well, for a mining company,
I'm gonna...
a hollow asteroid is not something we're looking for.
Spin my chair around to Victor, and I hit a couple buttons on your console, and you see I'm scanning out... outwardly.
Yep.
I start scanning outwardly to see if there's any other
ships.
ships in this area.
Okay.
And I kind of look at you like you see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I don't say anything. And then I turn around.
You're not going to find them. They're cloaked.
Klingon bird of prey.
Yeah. Why don't you roll, what would it be?
SIGINT.
Yeah, second. Well, you have 0 there.
Maybe Matt can roll it.
Yeah, Matt.
I just kind of set it up and he
You see it
takes
come on screen, this radar screen.
LADAR.
Later. Yeah, lasers.
SIGINT.
Yep.
So I don't have that, but I do get my plus 20 for my YouTube videos.
There you go.
That's not YouTube. That's AstroFrak proprietary
40 over 20
training videos.
Okay.
Which they just take off YouTube.
Yeah.
Why pay for it? Someone else did it better.
You don't see anything on scope, but you're not really sure what you're looking at, to be quite honest. The training videos were you were looking mostly at the things that were like mining related and that kind of thing. You weren't really looking for ship to ship, combat style stuff. So you don't see anything that's obviously pointing out to you that it is a ship out there, but otherwise you're not really 100% sure.
I'm not sure if I didn't calibrate it correctly, but I don't see anything else. Just the rock.
Yeah, there's a lot of nothing out there. It's hard to pick anything out.
Well, you all feel it would be safe to land on it.
Yes. I don't believe there's any danger of decompression, explosive or otherwise.
All scans of the LZ look good. Seems like a solid area. Should be able to put down there without any risk of collapsing ground or anything like that.
I mean, it goes at least 50 meters deep. Is that right? So
The probe is 150.
the probe's 150. Yeah.
Well, I don't see any problem with it.
All right, let's see what's under the crust.
You slowly descend onto the asteroid, gently landing the ship on the surface. A boom arm descends from the belly of the ship and contacts the surface of the asteroid and begins to drill down. You hear that whirring of the engine as it spins the drill head. And wait, you're watching kind of the progress of it. 80 meters, 81 meters.
He's clicking his pen as it ticks.
Then 85 meters, and as you see the kind of the density retract, and then all of a sudden goes to 0 as you think it breaks through.
He holds his breath for just a moment.
On the other end, it seems like it's a vacuum.
We're through. Reading vacuum inside.
Unbelievable. Hollow asteroid.
A first of its kind, at least as far as you know.
I don't know. Let me Google that.
Could it have been burned and wrapped around on itself? Become molten? Some
Perhaps.
close pass with a stellar object?
Leaked out into space and then left with a void?
Look at these streaks of metal. It's as if they burned at a hot temperature. It all here, that sheen there, that surface. It's perfect.
I say hollow asteroids actually aren't that rare, but hollow asteroids with a solid shell around the outside, that's unheard of. Most
Also-
hollow asteroids are like a porous stone. Like, you know that?
Like pumice, like
Yeah.
a volcanic rock.
Exactly. But this is different.
Well, at least it still is a first of a kind, a porous asteroid that can stop on its own.
Well, we might have just cracked open something that's been sealed up for 1 billion years.
Well, whatever it is, it's still in there. No decompression. We would have felt it.
Victor's monitoring the screen to see if there's any changes to like the local atmosphere around where we are.
No, what Dr. Kai was saying was correct. It's a vacuum, so nothing really is vacuum to vacuum, so nothing really changes externally. You look on the camera feed from the mining. It's pretty rudimentary. It's not really meant for this kind of like exploration. It's meant for just to clear jams or figure out what rock it hit. So it's pretty grainy, and you see. Actually, Dr. Kai, why don't you roll sanity for me?
That's a good start.
Here we go.
First of the game.
005. Keeping it cool.
Okay. 0 sanity. This is a 0 or 1d4.
Thank you, sir.
You see through kind of unfocused lens a really faint red light in the darkness, kind of all across the spectrum of the interior of this asteroid. We don't have the camera itself isn't focused far enough away for you to get a real picture of what it is.
Look at this. And he throws that grainy image. It becomes even grainier on the big screens.
Yeah.
That's light.
That's light.
Is there some sort of indicator light that's given us?
I can't see the source.
No, I mean off the
On
drill.
off the drill, no.
There are bioluminescent bacteria and things, yes.
Bacteria inside a
Perhaps
sealed asteroid.
anaerobic. I mean, they would survive in a vacuum.
They would need some sort of organic matter to feed on.
Perhaps just the rock itself, the minerals. I'm just spitballing here.
Could it be some sort of chemical reaction? Maybe from us breaching the outer shell?
I'm a biologist.
Yep.
Can I make a roll?
Yeah. Why don't you roll biology?
So his specialty is exobiology, and it's how living things survive in space and how space affects living things. So this is his jam. And I fail.
We're going to fail
guys
our
are
best rolls. Fail the things we're best at.
And then pass all sanity checks and then be like, this is a
That's my skill.
Pass all the sanity fail.
Unless,
Everything's fine, yeah. It's just,
so my biology is a 60.
So yeah, with a 60, there are definitely, and you've even seen it on other planets. Some of the basic life that you've found outside of Earth, like on Titan or Europa. There are a lot of single or small multicellular organisms that can exist in a vacuum for a period of time, and or can live for a long time in very harsh environments with little to no sustenance or food. Although to give off bioluminescent light,
It's a lot of energy.
it's a lot of energy.
Yeah, Kai did a paper on tardigrades early in his career. Just like everything else, Major, producing this light requires energy, as does stopping this object as it approached the Lagrange zone.
I wonder, these cameras on these drills, do they have an infrared setting?
No, the probes do.
Could we get that probe in there?
Not with your trigger finger.
The tunnel that the drill creates is probably large enough for a couple people to go down, but the probe itself, especially trying to gently move it down the tube, would probably be pretty difficult without severe damage.
As we're all traveling
Or
thousands
high
of
quality.
kilometers an hour careening
Yep.
through space, let's not forget.
No, we're staying still.
No, I don't think the probe will make it. But there is,
I could fit down there.
he nods.
Captain Ignatius, are you certified for 0G?
Yeah.
Probably actually are.
Yeah.
Probably play some sort of crazy 0G
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
I played Ender's Game at McGill.
Ender's Game, the name of a sport. Yeah. What position did you play?
I was the one where you like shoot your legs and then like you shoot through. Yeah, to like to create a shield to go. I forget what the
You were a
attack-
shielder.
A shielder, yeah.
Doctor, any readings of any sort of volatile or noxious gases?
Tip tapping away.
From the drill head, all you can sense is vacuum, but beyond that, you're not getting anything else.
Negative. There may be pockets of material inside the asteroid, but it's all suspended in a vacuum.
Captain, ship is secure. Landing zone is solid. I'd say we can hang out here for a while. Proceed as you see fit. I look over at Victor. Wink, wink.
All right, I'm gonna go suit up and go find out what's in the middle of this big old egg.
I'm going to join you, Ignatius.
Ah, right, cool. Thank you, Doctor.
Doctor?
I say we got. I say to Victor, we got Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock going on the away team, huh?
Huh. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't forget the tricorders.
I would suggest checking infrared. We see a red glow. There might be a lot more to it.
Dr. Kai is he has a couple of little extras for your suit. He walks up to you as you're getting clamped up. There's a black sort of a visor. Imagine these big, wide face holes. He has this black visor, just sort of snaps in. And it has this sort of very fine, powdery, like sheen on it. So this will protect you from any infrared radiation.
When they leave the cockpit to go start suiting up, I spin around again to Victor and I say, does this kid actually know what he's doing out there?
Well, I can say that he's spent a bit of time in space, but whether or not he knows exactly what he's looking for, probably not.
Should we let him go on a spacewalk on an unknown asteroid alone?
Are you looking for my scientific opinion? Because on that, I do not have one. Whether or not I think Iggy would be physically capable and mentally capable of doing it, I would say yes. I do worry about the doctor, though.
Off the record, Victor, what I'm asking you is if we should be babysitting him.
No, I think it would be best served if we were to be available to assist in case something does go wrong. But I think being down there would decrease our odds of success.
All right. Maybe we should suit up just in case then, but stay up here.
Aye.
All right.
You hear the whir of that engine, the hydraulics, as the mining head gets retracted back up to the ship, leaving the empty hole into the asteroid. As you two are in the airlock, suited up into your space suits.
Do you believe in God, Ignatius?
Well, that's an interesting question, Doctor. Do you mean a God or the Christian? Which God are you?
Whoever it is.
Oh no, Christianity was outlawed.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you pray to the flying spaghetti monster?
after the third war on Christmas.
Whoever it is, Ignatius, pray to them now. And he has this big, it looks like a big box, and he's sort of dragging it. Are we in gravity right now?
No, you're in zero G.
Okay. He has this long box with like a handle that goes along it. And it looks like if it was in gravity, it'd be way too heavy for him to pick up. Looks like a giant LED flashlight.
The panel on front of the airlock door says, ready for airlock seal.
Before you guys hit it, Victor comes up to the door. Just remember, you're only going down to scout for information. Yes, it's just a survey mission. If there is anything wrong, you should immediately abort your mission. Agreed?
agreed. We're just looking for answers, man.
Kai holds up the line that is attached to both himself and Ignatius.
We'll see you real soon, Dr. Vic.
Yes. The Major and I will be in constant communication. Just reach out if you need any assistance.
I come over your headsets and I say, I'm reading life signs clearly. Camera feeds are good.
Suits are sealed up. Good luck, gentlemen. And he'll step out and close the door.
The air gets pushed out of this airlock and it reads full vacuum on the LCD. And the door opens and you see the vast open space in front of you, lined by the surface of this crater's rock. You start to move down in 0G. You have these little booster jets that you can maneuver with, and you get to the hole that the mining rig had created. You can see it even from here, that soft glow at the bottom of it as you start to descend into this hole.
Like a pale red dot.
Mm-hmm. Pale red dot.
We're beginning our descent.
Colby?
I point to the monitors and I say to Victor, I say, Art's excited.
You can tell.
Look at his heart rate. He's not nervous. He's done this 100 times.
It's good. He
But
gives off a bit of nerves.
I know the man. He's got his hopes up.
Well, we all do.
You break out of the bottom of that hole, and I need both of you to give me sanity checks, please.
Yes.
It's a small world.
It looks like they've broken the bottom of the mine shaft.
19 under.
28 under.
All right, you both take one sanity loss. And actually, you two also take sanity checks, please.
We're watching.
Yep, on the screens. It's be a little bit less because it's
Under.
0 for you.
Over. Wait, no, exact. I
Okay.
rolled a 70. I have 70.
Wow.
Yep, you're at or under.
So 0 for both of you. You're looking through a screen, so it's a little less impactful for you. So that red light, through your human eyes, it's a lot easier for it to focus at long distance. And you realize that light is being emanated in these long strings.
Our visors are like polarized now, so all that extra noise outside of it.
And you break through the surface of this hole, and you see this cavernous, empty space, 40 kilometers long, probably 20 kilometers deep, stretching from all over this interior of this asteroid are these silver and red strings, looks like rope or something, but giant, tied all the way to these two vertical rings that are in the middle of this asteroid that are opposite each other, that are probably 20 kilometers in diameter, facing each other, where it has these, for lack of a better term, webs that attach them to the walls of the interior walls of this asteroid. Red bioluminescence is all throughout this entire structure, including the rings. And then down to the left, there are these cocoons or something that are clustered together with these tunnels that are these walkways of some kind, attaching them to the walls and to themselves, and then eventually to the rings. And you see this all in front of you, splayed out.
Do you believe in God, Ignatius?
I believe we found God, Doctor.
And we'll see what God is next time.
Not my God.
Not my God. Hashtag.
It's an overcooked chicken nugget?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Pale Blue Dot. Please spread the word, leave a review, tell a friend, confess listening to Nastagram to a priest. Anything and everything helps. Intro music by Wilhelm Scream. Scores by Adrian von Ziegler. Check out our page at NastaGramRPG.com, where you can find links to all of our socials, as well as information about our other arcs. Stop on by the Nastagram Lounge on Facebook.com and let us know your favorite horror movie trope.
That's nasty.